Hi, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Heather.
And I'm Taya.
And we never practice that, which is why it never goes perfectly. So today we are talking about politics. And if that worries you, don't, because we don't know anything about politics.
That is the most honest thing we've ever said.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're not getting into like deep what we think one way or another. This is not meant in any way to persuade anybody.
Yeah.
Politics are real
Confuses
heated.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that too.
Right. Both.
I think
we're confused and we're heated.
Yeah. We're mad. We don't know why. But
Right. And just for some background, again, me and Taya grew up in a politically neutral religion. We were encouraged to stay out of political conversations, to be careful not to have an opinion one way or another, to not be involved in world politics. And so when we left that religion about 3 years ago, it was like, oh, hey, we can have an opinion. What do we actually think?
And I want to piggyback on that. It wasn't just that we were raised politically neutral to the point where I don't know much about American politics.
Yeah.
I mean, politics in any country, but since we live in the United States.
Right. I don't know anything about Canadian politics.
Yeah. But yeah, so like this whole awakening, if you will, about politics goes back to even like, what are the three branches of government? Someone asked me that and I was like,
who knows that?
Judicial,
Executive.
presidential, and like the stock market. I think I said some like asshat answer. And I realized like I simply do not know a lot about politics. So if you don't either, congratulations, we'll learn together. And if you do, teach us.
To the club.
Yeah.
I know when Edwin, my husband, was born in Mexico. So when he was taking his citizenship test, he was like, help me study. And I was like, I don't know any of this. George Washington. He was the first one. That's all I know. So yeah, I learned a lot with him. Okay. So yeah, so that's our background. We grew up knowing nothing about politics.
And having no opinion on it.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember people having conversations like at work about, Obama or Trump, Biden, whoever. And I would get so closed up. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Please don't ask me anything, which working in a male dominated field, they don't. But yeah, I remember feeling like I have nothing to add to this conversation. I have no idea what you guys are even talking about. So yeah, it's nice to kind of dive in and feel like I know a little bit more about what's going on.
Is it nice or is it totally overwhelming? I'm so overwhelmed.
It's both for sure. Okay. I'm definitely overwhelmed. But at least I feel like I know what's going on. Yeah. Kind of. Sometimes.
We say a statement and then we preface it with like, we think. Or
yeah, I think.
Or maybe, I don't know.
So we voted for the first time for a president.
We did.
What, 2 months ago?
Yeah. It's still. How did you feel voting?
I was excited. Like, I was like, okay, I gotta get registered. How do you do that? Google, please help me. Also, Google has been our friend over these last few months. So yeah, it was exciting to get registered. I was also nervous. I was nervous about other people finding out that I voted. And it was also overwhelming. How about for you?
Same. Registering thankfully wasn't hard, right? No. It was easy to do. I did me and Jake, but I was shocked because there was like a local election this summer, right? Because I got a ballot and I got a pamphlet, and I don't understand. Why are there so many people on that ballot? And then talk about the presidential one. I had no clue there were all those separate parties. Yeah, like going, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're just open communists. Like, what are these parties? Like, looking through the parties, there was one that was like the socialist something. Yeah. And I was like,
isn't that a bad word?
What? Yeah. Hold on here. So that was a surprise to me. I had no clue. And then, I'm since learning that like we live in a blue state. Yeah, we do. Okay. Yep. I was looking for confirmation there.
Yep. Good job.
Yep. Okay. So it's like our vote inside the state doesn't necessarily have a big impact, although every vote matters, I know. But what really, like, I'm learning local politics is where you can really have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then I looked at the ballot and I was like, Jesus, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
What is, I don't
For
understand. Sure. And then so for that first election, I read it wrong. And so I saw something about like, you have to have someone witness your signature. And I was like, well, what? I have to have someone sign. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's like if you were unable to sign for yourself, you have to have it like, a notary or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, geez.
So you're freaking out.
I just threw that one away. I was like, I guess I'm not doing it.
Oh.
And then,
oh my gosh.
And then for the presidential one, then I actually read it more careful. I was like, oh, oops. Well, I was really just going to kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mow it. And that's not a way to do it. So I know. So I didn't.
Yeah. For the ballot, the presidential one, I literally thought I was going to get a piece of paper that had like Donald Trump and Kamala Harris and like 2 boxes, and that's it.
That's what they show in the movies, or at least on the cartoon. I'm desperately going back to like Schoolhouse Rock, where the son like remember the "I'm Just a Bill" song. Do you remember that one? I'm just a bill. Yeah, I'll stop singing, but you should look it up. Okay. It's very informative, and it's all about how a president can veto things. But anyway, that's basically the extent of
your political
knowledge about government. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that overwhelmed me, the ballot. And so I left a lot of it blank because they said I could. Yes. But next time, my goal is to be more informed ahead of time and to do more research on like local and state stuff, because there's all these positions, even in our town. There's all
schools.
these
I didn't realize you voted for school people.
Yeah. The port, which they determine a lot of stuff in this town. So yeah, that's my goal, is to be more educated for next time. And now I don't have to know everything, but I would like to be more in the know.
Yeah. So I felt the same. I opened my ballot and I was like, oh my God. And then I put it away for several days. And then I went back and I actually Googled like all the initiatives. I didn't realize we were voting on initiatives as well.
Yeah.
For our state. Yeah.
Also
right.
That. Jeez.
And I know they have like a little like tip at the bottom of it. Like if you vote yes, you are voting to like take away funds from schools and underprivileged children. And so I'm like, okay. So that helped a little, but then I definitely had to Google them.
Yeah.
And
there was like a pro and a con.
Yes.
At the bottom with like,
but
if you vote yes, you're also,
voting for this and this and this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Google helped a little bit, but the wording is just confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was my experience on it. And then a few days later, my husband also voted for the first time, and he was like, okay, well, like, help me. How do I do this? Like, help me figure this out. Yeah. And then we were looking over the initiatives again, and I was like, I've forgotten already what they mean. We're gonna have to look this up again.
Yeah.
That was challenging. And then I did look up some of the candidates. I mean, I think it's helpful that they put like their political party.
Yeah.
I know what I identify more as. So I looked up some people and decided who I liked more.
I am very easily swayed.
Yeah.
So like if like someone has a face that I don't care for,
someone has a face. Yes.
I am happy to be like, oof, don't agree with you.
That's so true. How you can look at someone's face and be like, I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you. You could be a wonderful person.
Yeah.
But your face?
Or you look, like you look swarmy. You look, I don't know. You look sus. You look like you overindulge in tobacco. I don't know. Like,
I have a thing with, maybe that's not the right term. Old white guys, I'm just tired of seeing them in power. A thing for old white guys. Not what I meant at all.
That's okay. Oh, hold on. Jake also wanted me to clarify that what he said in our bonus episode of being at like after hours or after dark.
Oh.
That word didn't mean what I thought it meant. And
we just meant it was dark outside.
Yeah, that's literally what he goes, oh, hon. Oh, no. What did you do? Oh.
It's all right. It's all right. I think our listeners know.
I think they get it. They get the gist.
I think they got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they were really disappointed, one way or the other.
Right.
I don't know.
It's not that kind of podcast. Yeah. So I see old white guys running for stuff, and I'm like, I've had enough of you guys. I don't. We know your opinion. We've
How
already
about younger
we've seen
white
it.
guys?
They're not that much better.
No. All right.
I will say I do like Tim Waltz. Like Tim Waltz,
The vice president.
vice president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look confused for a second.
Sorry. It took me a hot minute there.
Yeah.
He's
You know
not
what?
young?
No, he's not. He's an old white guy. That's why I'm saying. I'm surprised.
I
But
see.
I saw a TikTok of him holding cats, and I was like,
I'll vote for you.
so that's the other thing is that
Candidates
besides
should hold more cats.
that's the way to my heart. So we could have gone another way and just not voted at all. What made you want to vote? Anything in particular? Or just that you could?
Yeah, well, yes, that I could now. And I realized that my kids are going to inherit this country. I should have an opinion on it. And while I'm still learning my opinions on a lot of different topics, I think it is important to show my kids that they do have a responsibility. While I'm still going to try to get out of jury duty, but like, so I'm not like that good of a civil servant. But I think it is important to learn, right?
I love that. Yeah. I did jury duty once, and that was kind of a gray area. I feel like some of the people in our religion were like, no, I would absolutely never do jury duty. That doesn't feel right to me.
Should I share a funny story about that one?
Yes, please.
Okay. My sister, she tried to get out of jury duty, and we had things we would say to try to get out of jury duty, but that answer didn't work. And so she got called in for selection. And I guess during the selection process, it was a meth possession case. And so I guess they had the person there or something.
Yeah.
And so they call her up and they're like, are you able to be unbiased, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, nope, I think he did it. He looks like he has meth on him right now. And they're like, ma'am, you stop, get out, get out, get out. They kicked her out of that courtroom so fast.
That's hilarious.
Nope, I think he did it. He looks guilty.
He looks suspicious.
He looks like
Look
he
at his
has
face
it right now.
That's amazing.
I know.
If you need a tip to get out of jury duty, there you go. But I actually served on a jury, and it was fun. It got me out of work. You get like an hour and a half for lunch.
You also get paid like a nickel.
Oh, well, I know, but if you hate your job.
What was your case?
It was actually also a meth possession.
Yeah, well, welcome to Washington.
Right?
We like meth.
Not as personally, but
no.
Yeah, so it was this guy who tried to break into a hotel when it wasn't open. It was like a motel, and assaulted the police, and his meth pipe was found like right next to him. It was really interesting because we had one person who felt like he had been wronged by the police, and that finding a meth pipe next to him did not mean it belonged to him.
I mean,
no,
it's arguable. Okay.
He was like fighting with the police,
and it fell
he
out
was
of his
high.
pocket.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was my experience. It was fun.
Oh.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. So similarly, I don't have kids, but I also felt like it's important civic duty to vote. And being in healthcare, I also felt strongly about some of the issues that were being debated. And also on a totally other note, it made me feel grown up. It's like adults vote. I am an adult, so
Yes.
I should vote.
I feel that.
Yeah. Right?
I know. I was very excited to put my ballot in the box.
Yes, I know.
I took
you
a picture of it and I
yep.
posted it. And then I was like, but I threw it in the ballot and I looked around and was like, did anyone just see that? Did anyone just see that? I voted. Like, am I going to get in trouble?
Oh, okay. So a little bit of guilt there. I felt a little bit of guilt, I think. No?
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm like, I guess that's the feeling.
Yeah.
There's so many levels to the teachings that we were taught, and it's very hard to do things and let go of those feelings. Like they pop up at weird times where you're like, wait, what? Why do I feel weird about that?
Absolutely.
And you realize, like, is it because it's something wrong, or is it something I was taught not to do?
Yeah.
And so it's hard sorting all those emotions. So that's what I felt, was like, oh gosh, I just did something. And I was like, wait, you're not doing anything wrong. It's okay. Right. You did something good, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally hear you. Like, on a side note, that's how I felt walking into Willow's birthday. I'd never been to a birthday party before, and I got out of my car and I was like, I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's scary. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
To do something that you were taught you shouldn't be doing.
And maybe we can flip that to being excited rather than scared.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it is. It's both.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was surprised when you put your picture up on social media about you voting.
I was feeling
like,
real sassy that day.
Yeah, you were. I was like, oh, okay, she's telling everyone. I voted. I mean,
you know what? At a certain point, you just got to live your life. And again, sue me. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of unprecedented things, no pun intended, about this election. Like the candidates going on podcasts. That is kind of crazy.
I feel like there was a lot of candidates going on a lot of different shows.
Yeah.
There was just a lot more pop culture being mixed with it, maybe?
Yes.
Is that the right term?
Maybe. I see where you're
going.
Go
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Trump going on Rogan, Harris going on Call Her Daddy, which I have not listened to, but I should. I want to support fellow badass females like us. But yeah, did you watch any of those podcasts? Probably not.
No.
Do you have any interest in? I mean, I'm probably not going to watch Rogan. Let's be honest here.
I love getting the Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
But for a lot of it, I get stuck in the weeds of it all.
Well, some of these issues are, I feel like, close to heart for me. Like immigration. My mom was an immigrant. My husband
married an immigrant.
Is an immigrant. Exactly. Yeah. So those are topics that are close to my heart. Growing up, we didn't have any gay friends, which I do now. I have close gay friends, and I look at them and their rights possibly being taken away, and it breaks my heart, and I think it's not fair, and it makes me very angry. Working in healthcare, abortion, I know that not all abortions are done by mothers who want an abortion, but rather they need it. And I know how heartbreaking that is, and that's another thing that's close to my heart. We had a patient the other day who was having a DNC for a miscarriage, and I was thinking, would we be doing this right now if we were in Texas?
I do think it's interesting. Yes, I too on social media, obviously leaned one way and supported one person versus another. Mm-hmm. And how quickly the algorithm picked up on that and showed me negative about this side, positive about this side. Yep. And I thought, what is the flip side of this? What is the other side seeing where they're, they're against the opposite side?
For sure.
What kind of stuff are they seeing? It is so polarizing that was a little shocking to me. I guess long gone are the days of it being nice,
Yeah. Yeah, it got real ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Which is,
and maybe it always has been, but I feel like it's just so much more accessible now.
Yeah.
On social media. And then you have everyone being able to post their videos about their take on it and what a goofball, Exhibit A is and how great Exhibit B is.
Yeah.
And I was surprised about that. But going back to the hot topics that you brought up, I have been overwhelmed by having to think about how I feel about these these issues for the first time ever without external forces encouraging me one way or the other.
Because we were basically told what our opinion was.
100%.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is your opinion and this is why. And this is what we believe.
And that's it. That's it. So, topics like abortion, where I, felt a way about it, but kind of always in the back of my head was but I always kind of held on to the belief of you should be able to do whatever you want with you, right? It shouldn't affect me. Right. And so when then I was able to have an open opinion about it, really sitting in that and thinking about it from all angles, and then having a close friend who had to deal with a situation where she ended up needing one, and just seeing that firsthand and feeling the feelings involved. And I was like, this is so much bigger than so many different angles. I didn't know. And so it was kind of humbling because it's you really have to be well educated on a topic.
I agree. I feel like the opinions that I had as well about some of those things like abortion when I was younger, I was very naive, and
that's a good word for it. It's just naive.
Yeah. I thought
it's not out of ill will, but you just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah. You just don't know what you don't know. And I thought the people that are getting abortions are just people that are using it as birth control, you know?
Right.
But that's so not true.
I always thought it was like the drunken one night stands.
Right. Yeah.
That was and now I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's not how it goes.
Gosh, it's embarrassing that I used to think that.
I know.
Right?
Ugh.
Yeah.
It gives me the ick.
Yeah.
But yeah, even
like,
things like, well, trans rights too.
That's where I was going. That's what I was thinking.
Get out of my
head. Like, yeah, trans and gay rights. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I subconsciously thought it was a choice. You chose to be gay. But then the more I spoke to close friends, I was like, that was the stupidest thing I could have ever thought. Like, did I choose to be straight? No. Just things that we were naive about. And I'm proud that we can know that and learn new things and change the way we look at things and what we believe. I'm proud of that.
I think we've also been very fortunate to curate a group of friends that are able to help us, right? Where there's no judgment. We can have open conversations with a mixed lot, right? Like that girls' night where there was a Catholic, a Jew, and couple agnostics sitting in a room together, and like that's not the start of a funny joke. Like that really was one of our girls' nights, and we had a really open conversation about politics and religion, and it was just really refreshing that everyone had their own opinions about it and let everyone have their own opinions about it.
Yeah.
So
and it was a very chill conversation.
Right. It didn't get heated.
No. Why
So,
can't we all be like that?
It'd be nice. Why isn't it? Is it the lack of mutual respect? Like, how do we solve world peace? Like,
how do we? That
Jeez.
is the
calm
question.
down. It's a Monday morning.
I think it's just people feeling very strongly about things. And if someone comes at you and feels very strongly the opposite way, your reaction is going to be to change their mind. And if you can't, it makes you angry.
Sure.
At least personally, I can see that.
Are you speaking from experience? Yeah.
I think if more people were like that, like, look, I would never have an abortion. My Christian values would not allow me to do it. Then it's like, great, don't have an abortion. If your Christian values are against gay marriage, don't get married to a gay person. If you don't agree with trans rights, don't have transgender surgery. Live your life the way you want to live it. Mm-hmm.
But don't step on other people's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're so wise.
It feels like it should be that easy, but it's not.
It's not. I know. And that it's just so messy. And I really wish it could just be cleaned
black
up.
and white. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'd make it a heck of a lot easier to join the party. So I wonder, like, if you're raised in politics.
Yeah, please tell us.
Yeah. Like, does that change your feelings, your activity level in it? Because I know, like, some people are very involved in politics and others aren't. Like, what makes you that way? Is it being raised in it? Like, how are you educated? Are you relying on your high school civics class or social studies? Like, how are you learning these things?
Are you also relying on TikTok? And if you have differing opinions from your family, like, how do you navigate that?
Yes.
Do you just not talk about it? Are you able to have those open conversations with family?
Tell us all the things. I did like that meme that's like, I read it on the news. It's a quote. I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah. I read an article.
I read an article
on TikTok. Yes. Yeah. I didn't realize this either, that people in a certain political party, it doesn't mean they're automatically going to vote for that political candidate. Like if you're Republican, you don't necessarily always vote Republican. I guess I didn't really realize that either.
Yes.
But I think that's a really good thing because, what if your candidate doesn't have the same values as you, even though they're in the same political party? You can think for yourself and be like, okay, well, even though we're in the same party, I just don't agree with the majority of what you want to do.
Yeah, they might take a stronger stance on certain issues and a more mild stance on issues that you're passionate about versus the opposing candidate might take a stronger stance on issues you do care about, because no one fits the bill 100%.
Right. Yeah.
No one fits a party.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to Tori Dunlap. She's got a financial podcast. I think it's called The Financial Feminist. And I really like her. And she's had some strong opinions about this election. And she was saying how candidates aren't an Uber. They're not going to take you exactly to where you want to go. They're a bus. You're going to get close. Who's going to take you closest to where you want to go?
Ooh, I love that example.
Right?
That's
Very
perfect.
intelligent.
Very.
And she's like, if you want an Uber, then run yourself. But anyways, we're going to keep learning about politics. I know you vote for stuff in between the presidential election. I don't know what it is, but
I know stuff happens. I just don't know what it is.
Within the next 4 years, stuff's going to happen. Is it
every 2?
Okay. Well,
maybe
senators, I think, are elected every 2 years, and then representatives every 6.
I would like to make a motion.
Please.
Which house is what is it that they have no limit on how long they can serve? Is that a congressman or senator?
So Congress is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. This I know. I know one thing. That's Congress.
Okay. Well, whatever thing it is, that there's no limit on how long they can serve. So you have these people who've been in office for like 45 years and they're going to die in their seat. I think there should be a limit on that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a limit. Like the president, you can only serve, 2 terms.
No, there's no.
Okay.
I'm going to Google this right now, even if we have to cut all this out. This is very hard to Google, just FYI, when you don't know what question you're asking.
How long can senators serve?
Oh, that's a smarter question. How long?
Theory.
4 6-year Senate terms.
Oh, okay. So I got it wrong.
So is it Congress? Is it a congressman?
I'm trying to tell you. Congress is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Okay, either way. Jeez. If you know the thing I'm trying to say, Leslie.
I did. I said
should
it.
Just text Leslie. No, because there's something that doesn't have a limit, because she said she voted on someone else for that seat, because she's like, the person who had been in that seat had been in office for like 27 years. And she was talking about the opioid crisis. And she's like, you had 27 years. You didn't solve a damn thing. You're you're out. You're out.
Yeah.
I'll give you 10 years. If you can't
we gave
do
you 27
anything.
years.
Right. And it's not working. So, your time's up. You're out. You're fired. I'll text Leslie and we'll figure it out.
Leslie should know.
She knows. She's so wise. But yes, we will continue to learn.
See, it's confusing. Someone help us.
Terrible material.
I know. This is not meant to be educational, in case you haven't.
We should have
figured that out.
That, like, not for educational purposes.
Sure. Well, thank you for listening. If you've sticked around. That's not a word. Thank you for listening. If you stuck around for this long.
What are we talking about next week?
What are we talking about next week?
Yeah.
I think it's finances. I think we're talking about money.
Ooh, fun. Okay.
Yeah.
We're just diving into all the hot topics.
We are.
And we have gotten a request or two to do more of like a get to know us as hosts, Q&A type style sitch. So if there's anything you want to know about us, let us know.
Yes, please ask. Okay, should we talk about the books that we're reading? Should we do a follow-up?
Yeah. Okay. Ready? Hold on. Bring. New segment. What are we reading right now?
Did you finish Untamed?
No, I'm reading 15 minutes a day. I just made it to page 100.
Oh, right.
But let me tell you, doing it this way, I feel like is a sucker punch every day, because it's just this like bite-sized little bit, and I can really mull it over. And yeah, last night I just like was reading and cried, and then I picked up my fantasy smut book, and then I felt happy.
Good.
So I'm still reading Kingdom of the Wicked, and I'm still reading Untamed. So I'm kind of boring right now, but new things are coming because I'm almost done.
Good.
And I'll start something new. Heather, what are you reading?
I'm still reading. Well, okay. I finished The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich.
And?
I cried. It was good. So
good, not great.
Good, not great. Somewhere in the middle, I started to kind of lose interest. I was like, okay, where is this going? Is this going anywhere interesting? And so I kind of fast forward a little bit. I kind of skimmed. And then I kind of got reinvested in the characters. I do like she's got chapters from different points of view, and then the people meshed together. I do like that. And then I just cried because, so I told you the premise is everyone gets a box and it has a string in it, and depending on how long your string is, that's how long your life is going to be. And it was so good because it brought up all of these like existential life themes. Like if you know you were only going to live about 10 more years, would you choose to get married? Would you choose to have kids? Is that selfish?
Oh my God.
If you were getting on a plane, would you want to know if everyone else was a short stringer? Like, is this plane going to go down?
I am not an emotionally stable enough place to have this conversation.
I was not emotionally stable enough to read it. And I put my review on Goodreads and I was like, there's just a pile of tissues next to me. Because some people chose to look at their strings. Some of the characters didn't. And you know what made me sad? I was like, everybody has a string. Everybody in life has a string. We just don't know it.
That is so true.
Right?
Yes, it is very true.
Yeah. And
it's a sad thought. Yeah,
it is. It would be a good one for book club. It's a good one to mull on and think
feel
about.
Sad together.
Yes, feel sad together, but also like, would you want to see your string? Would you not want to see your string? I don't think I'd want to see mine, and I don't think I'd want to know anybody else's either. I couldn't handle it. I'd be like, we only have 10 years left.
Or would it make you live those 10 years to the absolute fullest? Right? Because you wouldn't be like weighed down by like, well, I still, I'll do that when I'm retired. Like, no, babe, years left. You should really live it up, Or would you just accumulate a mass pile of debt? And would that really help the economy?
Yeah. And that was the other issue in the book, was that there were, the short stringers and the long stringers, and the short stringers people felt like were dangerous. They had nothing to lose.
Right.
And some short stringers might want to take out other people along with them because they were mad about it.
Okay. If a short stringer wanted to take out a long stringer, could they?
No. So that was really interesting. There was like a short snippet of a couple that they had just gotten married, and the wife had a short string and the husband had a long string, and they both jumped off a bridge together, and he survived.
Shit.
Yeah.
That would suck.
Yeah. Because he had a long string. You can't die until your time.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
It was crazy. And then I did finish The Women by Kristen Hanna, and I love Kristen Hanna, and it was a great book. And again, I cried.
I want to talk about Kristen Hanna there for a minute.
Okay.
You have told me to read her books for so long. I got gifted The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Mm-hmm. I had that book on my shelf for over a month. No, over a year. Excuse me, over a year.
Okay, I was like, that's not that long.
I was always like, I just not in the mood, And finally, when I got picked for book club, I read it, and I was not okay. Yeah. Like body racking sobs. Mm-hmm. And then I read The Nightingale, and the same thing happened.
Not okay.
Yeah. The first 100 pages, Kristen, you lose me. I'm real bored.
I think she has to set the tone. I don't hate that.
Yes. And then by the end, I realized I needed that first 100 pages to invest in the story and get the background and all of that. But that's quite a buildup to be so utterly devastated at the end. I have scars on my heart from these books. It is not.
Yep.
I know Jake read The Great Alone before me. He read it on a camping trip. And I thought it was funny. I'm like, he's really into this book, that's kind of funny. And then I read it, and he hears me sobbing, and he comes in and goes, did it happen? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this, X so-and-so just did this and did it. And he's like, it's going to get worse.
I know.
And it did.
Then I remember you texting me God damn it, Heather, if this person doesn't survive or if this happens, I'll never forgive you. And I'm only kind of kidding.
And I stand by those words.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
man,
I hear you.
Those books. Yeah. So I've heard nothing but good things about The Women, and I hope it lives up to that.
Yeah. I put it off for such a long time. I don't know why. Well, I had a friend who told me that it wasn't as great as she thought it was going to be, and I think that just stuck in my head. But I thought it was good. I thought it was up there with The Nightingale. The Great Alone is my favorite, but it was good. And then I'm still reading The Quiet Tenant, and I still don't know how I feel about it. I'm 30% in.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I kind of stalled out on the Harry Potter too.
Yeah.
I'm on book 3, and I've been at 13% for about a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just have other books, and I know I can get it whenever. I know I can read it whenever, and it's not something I have to be very invested in. So it's fun for that. It's almost like a palate cleanser.
Yep.
If I'm reading a scary book, I can go and Harry will calm me down.
Good old Harry.
Good old Harry.
Yeah, I've got like 2 books that are due tomorrow at the library. I'm clearly not going to finish them in time. Because I haven't even started them. I'm going to have to renew. So maybe we'll talk about this next week.
We check out like a pile of books as if we have nothing else to do all day but read. I mean, that's my dream, but
yeah, it's part delusion and part optimism.
That is a dangerous combo.
Yeah,
it really is. Okay, so next week we're going to talk about finances and money and retirement and
401ks.
For what?
Wasn't that on Friends? Yeah, Phoebe. She's like, I got a 401. No, Rachel. One of them.
Who's FICA? Why is he taking all my money?
Exactly. So, we're going to talk about finances, and we hope you listen.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments your thoughts and opinions on today's episode and the politics and all that kind of stuff. You can also tell us what you're reading because we're curious too. And clearly our TBRs are already too long. Let's add a couple more books onto it. So
yes.
Yeah. All right.
You can find us on Instagram at 30 Flirty and Freaking Out.
Yeah.
We also have a TikTok. It is TFFO podcast.
Yeah.
So follow us there.
And we do highlight the cats of TFFO. So if you like cats,
do.
maybe Tim Walton will find it.
That'd be great. Tim, we'd love to have you on the show.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll see you next week.